So we got to talk about Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 30. And more specifically, we need to talk about Kayda. Because a majority of this episode was Kayda complaining and being confused as to why she was in the bottom three, right? And she was throwing a lot of shade at other couples during this entire episode. So we're going to talk about what Kayda does not seem to understand as to not only why she was placed on the bottom, but how she says KC and TiTi should have been on the bottom, why they were not on the bottom. We need to explain it to her to just get to the point, all right? Now, in today's video, I'm by myself. My girlfriend isn't here, so I will be doing this one by myself, but she will be here for the next one, all right? So let's get right into it. What Kayda does not understand, right? So if you don't know, but I'm pretty sure you know if you're here in this video, Kayda spent the majority of this episode bad mouthing and bad talking KC and TiTi and basically saying, why did they not get in the bottom? More specifically, KC, she complained about how did KC not get into the bottom vote with everything that he did to Anaya and everything that happened with Anaya and all that drama and how he disrespected her. As we have all acknowledged, he disrespected Anaya, but we also saw that he apologized for it, right? And she even threw shots at Carl and Anaya at one point too, because she was just saying how, just like KC and TiTi, Carl and Anaya are a new couple and how they've been together since day 3. So she just doesn't understand how they've outlasted all these other couples. They've been here longer than all of these other couples, on top of KC's drama with Anaya and everything he did to Anaya. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Everything that KC did with Anaya to Anaya, right? Because that's going to be important here, right? And so she's just wondering, why are they in the bottom 3 and not one of the newer couples, right? Those are the couples I specifically heard her mention. I think she did mention Melanie and Sincere at one point too, because obviously we all know everything that Sincere has put Melanie through. And yeah, that is a toxic relationship, right? But let's get into what she doesn't understand with all these shots she's throwing, all this shade she's throwing, right? I need Kayda to understand, and anybody that watches this video that agrees with her or whatever, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys understand why it was the way it was. It was a compatibility vote, right? It was not a relationship length vote, which she mentioned how they've been together longer than the newer couples, which is true. But if the vote was about that, then there's no point in making it a vote, because y'all just say, okay, the newer couples get out right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the vote was, one. And then it's not about who had the most drama. It's not a vote about the drama between KC and Anaya. I'm sorry, it's not about that, right? Now, again, listen to what I said. The drama between KC and Anaya. So here's what Kayda's not understanding in regards to the whole KC situation. KC, yes, he did disrespect Anaya. We all know this. We've acknowledged it. He apologized, though. They made amends. They're both cool. But even without that, right? Put that to the side completely. KC is not in a couple with Anaya, right? Notice every time she had to mention why KC should be on the bottom, it was about something he did with Anaya, which would make sense if KC and Anaya were in a couple and he did all of that and they were still together and they were not placed in the bottom, because this vote is about your couple. So why, when you're talking about KC and TiTi not being in the bottom, you're constantly talking about KC and Anaya? It's KC and TiTi vote. It's not a KC and Anaya vote, which means when we're taking this vote into consideration, we're not even thinking about the Anaya storyline at all whatsoever. It has nothing to do with Anaya at this point. We're talking about his relationship, his couple. So as much as he's wronged Anaya and disrespected her and had to apologize and all this other stuff, right, and take accountability, the vote is about him and TiTi. So again, I hear you. If KC was still with Anaya, absolutely, they would need to be in the bottom because of everything he did in that relationship, just the same way that Sincere is actually still with Melanie, right? And somehow didn't end up in the bottom because people think they look good together. They're pretty people. They're pretty people. They look good, right? But KC and TiTi, right, are compatible. You cannot sit here and watch that episode, any previous episode. Kayda can't even say it herself. That's why she told TiTi, it's not that I don't think you're compatible. But if you saying to TiTi, it's not that I don't think you're compatible, and you acknowledge that this is a compatibility vote, right? Then you need to acknowledge that KC and TiTi deserve to be there. If you're acknowledging that, you literally said it in your own explanation as to why they were not in the bottom. You said it's not that I don't think you're compatible, that you think they're great together. Okay, there's your answer. That's it. End it there. You going on about, oh, but him and Anaya and everything that happened with that. Again, he's not even with Anaya. He's not. Right? So that's not the name. That's not the name that he's with. So TT can't suffer because of that. You get what I'm saying? So yes, it's compatibility, and Kayda herself knows that they are compatible, but for some reason she can't comprehend or understand that people can actually vote in a way where they separate. You know, they can separate things, right? They can separate the former drama versus his compatibility in his current couple. And that's what she's not being able to separate. As far as Kayda is concerned, this was a vote as to who America should just hate more. Like, forget whether or not you're compatible in your couple. She's just like, America should just be like, who do you hate more, right? And to be honest, they hate Zach a lot too, you know, which she doesn't seem to understand. And I guess we'll get to that as well. But yeah, it's not about who they hate more, but that's seems to be what Kayda thinks it's about. And that's why she kept throwing KC under the bus, because she's like, I know they got to hate him more than they hate us. I know we got to hate more. Just sure, if it was a who gets the most hate, like who you hate the most in the villa, then sure, I guess pack them up, because a lot of people still hate KC, even though y'all treating this like the Bloods and the Crips. And like I said, they have moved on. They've apologized to each other. He's owned up to what he's done. Everybody should let it go. I don't know why people have this inability to let something go that they themselves are letting go. Y'all need to drop that. Y'all seriously need to drop that, right? Now, the next thing that Kayda is not understanding, right? And this is what's killing me, because this is one thing that they said that KC did that that you know he wasn't understanding at the time, and this is hypocritical again, right? Because they kept saying it's not about exploring, but it's about the fact that you put Anaya down while you were doing it, which he did put her down in ways while he was at Casa Amor, absolutely, which is why he had to apologize. I'm going to keep stressing that, because people like to act because you could say two things are true, that you're not acknowledging that he was disrespectful. I'm acknowledging that he was throughout this entire thing, but I'm also acknowledging the apology that a lot of people choose not to acknowledge. I acknowledge everything, not just one thing or two things or three, you know? So you can lift yourself up without putting others down, right? You can do that. Okay, so if you hate KC for that exact thing with what he did to Anaya, why, Kayda, then spend the entire episode putting other couples down, and not just KC and TiTi? She, like I said, she put KC down the most, but she also put down Anaya and Carl for the duration of their relationship, and she put down Melanie and Sincere, which, to a good point, they Sincere and has been putting Melanie through hell, you know? But point is, right now, the point is, you're putting other people down. Why not just be like, damn, I don't understand why they can't see that we're compatible. I don't understand how they don't see that we're great. You don't have to talk shit about all of the other Islanders couples in order to make the point that you think you and Zach are compatible, right? And this is exactly what y'all hated that KC did, right? This is what y'all hated. And now here you are doing it. You literally don't have to talk about nobody else but yourself. You can literally just say, dang, I really think that me and Zach are really compatible. I do not understand why America doesn't see that. And you could talk about your relationship. We do this together. We do that together. You make me breakfast every day. I mean, every guy in here does. But, you know, whatever you think he does and whatever you think you do for him and everything that you think goes into why you guys are, you know, just both so compatible with each other, you talk about that. But no point in your explanation do you need to put down any other couple in the villa. You don't have to whatsoever. At all. Just make the case as to why you are a good couple. Don't make the case as to why everybody else is bad, you know? Because at that point, you're not even elevating yourself as a couple to say, hey, we're great, we're up here. You're just trying to drag everybody else down. It's almost like, well, if we're bad, they're worse. No, bring yourself up. Bring yourself up. Don't bring them down, or don't try to do both. Don't try to bring yourself up while bringing them down. It's not necessary. You don't have to do that. That's hypocritical. We have to hold everybody accountable here. This is very annoying. So that's another thing she doesn't understand. She understood it when it was KC doing it, and that it's not a good thing to do. She did not understand that shit here. She did not understand that shit here because she feels that different rules apply to her. And that's the double standard thing that's been going on during this entire season. Okay. Now, the next thing that she does not understand is people do not like Zach. And TiTi tried to tell you that, right? One, in the conversation with TiTi, again, she still threw shade at KC and all that because TiTi asked her. And you know what? TiTi didn't even throw shade back. She was just like, girl, I know. I thought America hated him too. Which we did think that. But it's great. It's great that, again, they can make the separation between compatibility and I'm just mad that he did this last week to somebody that he's not in a couple with right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she doesn't understand that people don't like Zach. And TiTi literally sat there and said, hey, I saw some episodes before I came in here. Remember you had sex with him. And then right after that, he was talking about bombshells. Like, what if a bombshell comes in and stuff like that? And she just kind of waved it off like, oh, those were early days, though. You know? Yeah, those were. If you want to say that's early days, whatever, that doesn't make the point any less valid or true, right? And this is an actual complaint about your relationship with Zach, right? You notice how, again, every complaint she had about KC and TiTi was never a problem between KC and TiTi because KC and TiTi are good. She gave you real facts about you and Zach, though. And you were just like, oh, that's behind us. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, though. You never gave him real heat for that anyway. And that's what she's trying to say. That's what she's trying to tell you. Like, yeah, but it's behind us because you kind of just overlooked it. But maybe America doesn't like that you overlooking this shit and that he does need to be held accountable. Just like how you've been holding every other person accountable in here. Hold your man accountable, right? On top of, I remember people saying that Zach didn't make her breakfast one morning because he was upset. I forgot what it was about. Remind me in the comment section down below. But just several things. A lot of people think that Zach don't even like Kayda in the same way. Oh, on top of what I think is weird too, the fact that he never told her that that girl was removed from the villa, right? He could have came back, said she was removed from the villa, but I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was definitely coming back to you anyway. I was never gonna pick that woman. He could have easily said that, and he did not do that. You know what I'm saying? So him withholding that information, that was weird too. Because he kept saying, it was weird in the biggest way because he said, if I wanted her, then I would have brought her back. That was not even a possibility, Zach. That was not ever possible. So he should have gotten heat from her for him completely just bold-faced lying, saying, if I wanted her, I would have brought her back. No, if you wanted her, you would have been like, damn, they removed her from the villa. That's what would have happened because she was removed. You literally could not bring her back, Zach. And this is something that she does know about because he said it to her. And then she obviously knows the girl was removed now. He's still not getting heat for that specific statement either. I'm trying to tell you, Kayda, you don't understand. If you're talking about being liked, KC not being liked, you got to understand that people do not like Zach, whether or not you see it. They don't like Zach. They don't like the things he says and does within your couple. Right. And again, for y'all, you two are actually a couple, which means you two specifically actually have a problem, unlike KC and TiTi. And unlike Carl and Anaya, you know, I can't say unlike Melanie and Sincere because they got all the problems. But hey, they pretty, they get passes, I guess, you know, whatever. It's not about them, no, it's whatever. Right. Yeah, the next point I want to make, Kayda doesn't understand, is that moving on is a real thing. And I don't know if this is a point that I just need to make to Kayda or I need to make to a bunch of people in the audience. Moving on is such a real thing. Once the apology happened between Anaya and KC and they forgave each other and they was smiling at each other and KC was like, you know, he was low-key blushing and all of that. Like, it was done. From that moment on, it was done. If Anaya can move on and not be mad and say that this man deserves love and all this other stuff, I'm not going to lie. You can just say, all right, cool. We ain't going to beef with him no more either. We're not going to get on his ass no more either. Again, he was disrespectful. I'm going to keep acknowledging that. He was very disrespectful. He had to apologize for it. The point of the statement is not that he was not disrespectful. It's that it is possible to own up to what you did, apologize for it, the apology be accepted by the only person that's allowed and needs to accept it, which is Anaya, and everybody moves on. Move on. Kayda, move on. Stop bringing it up. All the fans that hate him for some reason, move on. Anaya's not mad. I really need to know if Anaya's not mad and she knows everything that you do at this point, why do you still keep going to have war? What is the point of you continuously trying to have war if the leader, the head of the snake, Anaya herself, is saying, hey, we not at war anymore? At what point in you having a gang war, and the leader of your gang is like, nah, we called a truce, and you out here still trying to shoot and kill the members of the other gang? Leave it be. Drop it. Come on, man. So yes, moving on is a real thing. Stop bringing it up to fans and to Kayda. Y'all don't understand that. I don't know why you don't understand that. Like, your hate runs deeper. This is getting very parasocial. Like, come on, bro. Let it go. The last point I want to mention is not even to Kayda. It's to Melanie. It's an honorable mention for Melanie that I want to give Melanie credit for. That kind of plays back into the part or the point that I mentioned previously with Kayda not understanding that this is a compatibility vote. Because when they were in the dressing room talking and they were asking TiTi if she was shocked that they were not voted in the bottom, and TiTi said she was shocked, Melanie was like, I'm not gonna lie. And she's like, why? You know, Melanie's like, I'm not shocked because you two are compatible. You heard what she said, because you two are compatible. You and KC are compatible. Where is the lie? Melanie didn't say, oh, I'm shocked because, yeah, what he did with Anaya was crazy. He's not with Anaya. Even if he did not apologize, I'm gonna be real with you. Even if he did not apologize, and you can hate him all you wanted to, that's not who he's with. So the compatibility vote was literally not about that. I'm tired of people talking about the vote as if it was a different question than it was. And Melanie is one of the only people I saw in this episode that acknowledged what the real question of the vote was. She acknowledged that shit. And she gave KC and TiTi their credits for it. She said, yo, you guys are compatible. She mentioned nothing else. She made no hate, no reference to the former beef, none of that. She said, y'all are compatible. And that's all it comes down to. That's all it is. So credit to Melanie. Shout out to Melanie for saying that. But yeah, it was just kind of really annoying listening to Kayda the entire episode just go on and on about other people and other couples and all these complaints and how just terrible and unfair it is. And again, bringing other people down while trying to lift herself up. If I'm not even sure if she was trying to lift herself up or just trying to bring other people below her level. So if she's at a level 3, she's trying to put them in -5. I didn't get it. But yeah, that's it. I wish my girlfriend was here to record this with me, but she will be back in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed me as the individual host. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This is A&Jay, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.